Hi everybody, this is Miss Hicks here. I come to give you a writing lesson today. We are going to read a writing prompt that it was put on by Tennessee Department of Education. And we're going to read that writing prompt, go through it, and practice what good writers do. I'll have to excuse the glow on my face. I've got a kid out here playing in the yard, so I'm doing the video and kind of babysitting at the same time. So I apologize for the shiny glow face and the sunglasses, but that's just what we're going to deal with today. But let's go ahead and get started and look at our writing prompt. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and read passage 1. Excerpt from 10 reasons why you don't exercise and why you should overcome them. Your clothes would get sweaty. Your hair would get messy. It's cold out. It's too hot. You're tired. You'd rather sleep. You don't like to exercise alone. You don't have to have people see you You don't like to have people see you exercise. Your muscles will get sore. You don't have time. In short, you don't feel like exercising. I think everyone gets those days, says 14-year-old Charlie Wilson in Ohio. However, science says we'll all be healthier if we get moving. Indeed, the U.S. government's 2008 physical activity guidelines recommend an hour or more of activity daily for children and teens. Basically, there's no system that it doesn't have a positive effect on, at least when done in moderation, says Antoinette Yancey at the University of California at Los Angeles. She served on the Guidelines Expert Committee. More importantly, Yancey says physical activity can produce immediate benefits. For starters, regular physical activity improves your overall fitness. Your bones and muscles grow stronger. You can do more before tiring, and exercise can bolster the immune system, so you're less likely to get sick. Physical activity also improves your mood. Mentally, I feel better after I do it, says 17-year-old Danielle Lehman on Long Island. It gives you time to blow out steam, adds 16-year-old Matthew Kolinsky, also on Long Island. He really welcomes physical activity after a long day of sitting and concentrating at school. Interestingly, researchers at East Carolina University found that students stayed on task better when classes included regular exercise breaks throughout the day. Other studies suggest that regular physical activity improves decision-making and planning abilities. That includes being able to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, being creative, and not making bad judgments, explained Yancey. Overcoming inertia. Part of Isaac Newton's first law of physics says that a body at rest tends to stay at rest. Unfortunately, that holds for our exercise habits too. The important thing is finding something that's fun to do, stresses Fulton. Charlie likes soccer and fencing. Danielle runs and does yoga. Matthew plays hockey and lacrosse and runs track. Being with friends helps. Running around circles for track isn't all that fun, admits Matthew. But when it's you and 5 guys, and as you're running, each guy has a joke, it makes it that much better. Of course, everyone is busy, so Fulton also advises build activity into your life. Charlie often walks to and from school or to friends' houses. Yancey wants teens to go farther and push schools to add instant recess breaks throughout the day. It needs to be an ordinary part of the day, Yancey says. Just as many restaurants and offices are now no smoking places, she says, schools and offices should become places of no prolonged sitting. And on days when you might make excuses, remember how good a physical activity can make you feel. I realize that when I get to hockey, it will be better there than me just sitting at home doing homework, says Matthew. As soon as I step on that ice, I'll be glad I'm there. So get moving, have fun, get or stay healthy. Passage 2, Born to Run. There is nothing like racing across the playground or sprinting along the beach with the wind at your back. That sudden burst of speed can make you feel like a cheetah chasing its prey or a horse galloping on an open plain. It's as if you were born to run. Running also strengthens bones and muscles, controls weight, and keeps your heart healthy. Most of all, it can be a lot of fun. Getting started. If you're inspired to become a runner, make sure that you have a good pair of running shoes. These special sneakers are designed to cushion the impact of running. Many stores specialize in this type of shoe. Be sure to run in a safe place with an adult partner. City parks are good, so are country roads. Many towns have athletic fields with grassy areas and running tracks. Any of these spots could work. One advantage to running on a track is that it's easy to know how far you've run. A lap on the track at most high schools is 400 meters long. That's almost a quarter of a mile. So 4 laps equals about 1 mile. If you decide to run on a road or sidewalk in a park, make sure a parent helps you plan a route. Always run facing oncoming traffic and never run at night unless you're in a very well-lit area. Soft surfaces like dirt trails and grass are easiest on your feet and joints. Most sidewalks and road surfaces are quite hard, so you'll want to limit the amount of running you do on them. The first question new runners ask is how far. A better way to gauge your workout is how long. Running for a specific number of minutes reduces the pressure to run a certain distance each time. A good way to start is alternated running and walking for 30 minutes. Pace yourself for success. Here's a good plan for starters. Run 3 times each week, taking at least 1 day off between workouts. The first week, run 1 minute, then walk for 6 minutes. Run a minute, then walk 6. Keep running a minute and walking 6 until you've been at it for about 30 minutes total. Each week, increase the length of the running portions, 2 minutes the second week, 3 minutes the third, and reduce the walking time. Before long, you'll be running the entire 30 minutes. It's important to increase the running gradually. This will allow your body to adapt to the work, and it will help you avoid aches and pains. Beginning runners who go too far too soon often get discouraged. Warm up for each workout by walking briskly for 5 minutes. This will slowly raise your heart rate, directing more blood and oxygen to your muscles. Swing your arms and walk faster than you normally would, but not so fast that you start to jog. Then you can ease into your run. You should be able to talk comfortably while running without gasping for breath. If you find yourself huffing and puffing, slow down or walk until you feel comfortable. After you run, cool down with another 5-minute walk and some light stretching. Stretching keeps your muscles from tightening up. It also reduces soreness and can help prevent injuries. Running is a great activity to do with a friend. In middle school, you might have the opportunity to join a running club or a team. Now you know the basics of running. So lace up your running shoes and join the millions of people who are proud to call themselves runners. Chances are you were born to run too. Okay, here is our writing prompt. Principals are considering making a rule that requires many recesses throughout the day that include the opportunity to run on a track. Would this be a good idea? Write an essay in which you give your opinion. Use facts and details from both texts to support your opinion. Follow the conventions of standard written English. Okay, so the first thing I do after I have read my text and read my writing prompt is I go back and I look at that writing prompt. Then I kind of tear it apart to make sure that I'm going to respond and answer every single thing that writing prompt says. Because I don't want my response to be the wrong kind of essay. I don't want to just give facts about running or exercise when the prompt tells me to give an opinion essay. So I am going to be giving my opinion in this. So I just go through, and there's no reason you can't do this on most of your text that you're working on your own. If your teachers provide you copies, if I can get the right stuff. Sorry, I'm using a new program here today. Highlight. Okay, so it tells me to give my opinion. So I highlight that to remind myself that that is really important that I give my opinion. Now, what am I giving my opinion on? It's really important that I give the correct opinion, not just, oh, do I think exercise is good, or do I think exercise is bad, or what do I think about ponies? Obviously, you wouldn't write about ponies in this one, but you do need to pay close attention to what it is they want you to write about. And they want you to write about with many recesses throughout the day. Would many recesses throughout the day be a good idea? That's what my essay is going to be about. So the first thing after I have went through this prompt, there's one more thing I need to highlight in my prompt, is that I use details from both text, both text. Now, one of the texts you're going to see very easily lends itself much better to this essay than the other one, but I have to make sure that I put both text in my essay because my writing prompt told me to. One of the really, really important parts of writing is to make sure you pay close attention to your writing prompt and you do exactly what it wants. That's the first rule of success. So now that I've done that, I'm ready to start my writing. What is the first thing we do in the writing process after reading our text and our prompt? I hope you said pre-writing. So many people go rough draft, but no. We have to pre-write first. It's always important and helps us get our ideas organized. You can pre-write in any way that works best for you. You can jot it down on some notebook paper. You can go over to your Google Docs and do it there. You can go over here to your Google Docs and type up some notes. Whatever you're most comfortable with, but you must pre-write because it will help you to stay organized and make sure that your writing is on track and you're on topic. Very important stuff there. Okay, so I need to make myself a couple of notes just as my little reminders. I want to tell myself that I'm writing an opinion essay. And I'm going to go back over here and I am going to say many recesses throughout the day. I want to be sure that I get that exactly. Many recesses throughout the day. Sorry, give me just a second. I'm trying to do something real quick. So I copied that text and I'm going to go ahead and paste it right here and then put it together to make a coherent sentence. One of the really cool things about using the writing prompt is you can use the words in the writing prompt in your essay, unlike where you can't completely copy words from the text without putting in quotations because you get into plagiarism issues there. But when you're doing the writing prompt, I always try to put part of the writing prompt in the introduction of my essay because that helps me make sure that my topic is exactly what it's supposed to be. So what I'm going to do right here is put recesses throughout the day. And I'm going to include the opportunity to run on a track because we can throw that in there somewhere, but it's not super important to my main idea. So I am going to take that part out. And then they have, would this be a good idea? And I'm going to say it would be a good idea. So if I take out this and B and make my W a lowercase, right there is my thesis statement. Recesses throughout the day would be a good idea. That is my opinion. Another word for your thesis statement when you're writing an opinion piece is, who can tell me? Claim. That's right. This is your claim for the rest of your essay. So recesses throughout the day would be a good idea. So that's my claim. Remember, this is my pre-writing, so I'm just going to label it to be my claim. So now what I need are 2 to 3 reasons why recesses throughout the day would be a good idea. So we want to make sure whatever our reasons are that we can well support them with our text. One of the things that we kept hearing about in the text all the way through is when we're doing recess, we are using some sort of physical activity. And we all know, and the text proved to us once more, that physical activity is good for our health. So that's my reason number 1. Physical activity is good for your health. Now, I would go back eventually when I'm writing, but remember, this is my pre-writing, and I'm not worried about spelling or grammar or any of that stuff. I'm just laying out my ideas to make my writing easier for me. So I might change your to a student's or something like that. There's some teachers that prefer you not to use personal pronouns in formal writing, although on occasion you can get away with it on opinion pieces. Reason number 2 would be recesses will benefit students educationally, giving them brain breaks and stuff like that. And I think we'll be able to prove that going back through our text too. So that's what we're going to do now, is see if we can find a couple pieces of evidence to throw in there for our pre-writing, and then we'll be ready for our rough draft. Well, I found my first piece of evidence right here, paragraph 25 on the passage 2. Says running also strengthens bones and muscles, controls weight, and keeps your heart healthy. So just for the convenience of it, I'm going to control copy and then go over here and control paste that. Now they've got the paragraph weird, so I'll just put me a little P there so I'll know what that number is for. And so that's going to be my text evidence. That is directly pulled from the text, so I'm going to put quotations around it so I can remember that if I use it just like that, then I do have to get my quotation marks there. So now I'd like to find one more piece of evidence to support that physical activity is good for your health, and I'm not going to have any trouble doing that, because if I go on back to passage 1, there's an entire section right there. You can't see my finger pointing at the screen, my bad. But paragraphs 12 through 16 all give all kinds of information about the benefits. Now, this is benefits of running. But once again, running is a type of physical activity that can be done during recess, and most recess games involve some sort of running. So I can definitely tie that in and make sense of it in my essay. So that first sentence right there is pretty bold. There's no system that it doesn't have a positive effect on. So that's some pretty cool information. And right here, we're going on physical activity can produce immediate benefits. And then right here, physical activity improves your overall fitness, your bones, your muscles grow. You can do more before tiring. Exercise can bolster the immune system, so you're less likely to get sick. So I think that's probably the most powerful one, but you could definitely use any of paragraphs 12 through 16 to be your evidence. I'm going to copy and paste paragraph 13, if it will let me. It's froze up on me for some reason. We'll get it to work in just a second. There it goes. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it over under there to give myself, now it has formatting weird, but I don't care, because this is my pre-writing and I don't care if it looks perfect. I just need to make sure that I have my information in there. And that was paragraph 13, I believe, but I do want to check and make sure that I'm right on that. It is paragraph 13. Okay. So now I have 2 reasons to show that physical activity is good for your health. Now, my other one is that recesses will benefit students educationally. So now I've got to go back in my text and find some evidence to prove that recesses will benefit students' education. I think paragraph 16 right here gives some really good evidence to support that it's good for you educationally. They're talking about students stay on task better when classes included regular exercise breaks throughout the day. So I would copy and paste that, maybe. There it goes. And I would put that in my pre-writing. The sun is so bright I can hardly see what I'm doing. I need to remind myself that that came from paragraph 16, I believe, but I always like to check and be sure. 16. Okay, good. So that's really all I have to do for my pre-writing. One of the things that I can always go back and do is look for some more evidence. If I wanted another piece, remember, for every good body paragraph, you'd like to have at least 2 pieces of text evidence. Sometimes the text doesn't just give you great. Now you can have some, you could have used paragraph 15 where it's talking about blowing off steam. And if you just really wanted to use 2 pieces of text evidence, you could definitely add that in there if you wanted to. But I like to have good solid stuff in mind. So now we have our pre-writing. We're going to take one last look. Or that might be real. Sorry. So we're going to take one last look there. My claim is recesses throughout the day would be a good idea. Reason 1, which we know when we start our opinion writing, that will be my paragraph number 1. That physical activity is good for your health. And my reason number 2 is recesses will benefit students educationally. And I've got myself some text evidence to make it to where when I'm ready to start typing, all I've got to do is throw that stuff into my body paragraphs. So what do I need to do to put these into good body paragraphs? Well, I need a good outline. Just so happens that I have a nice little outline at the bottom of this screen here that I pulled up. So what you want to be in your essay is, for your introduction paragraph, you want to have a good hook. That's something that you want to use to grab your reader's attention. You want it to be close to your topic, but it doesn't exactly have to be 1,000,000% on topic. A good hook can be a question, a theoretical question, or not theoretical, a rhetorical question, which means you don't expect them to actually come out and answer it for you. You could use a fact or a short little anecdote, a short story. Whichever one you choose to use will be okay. Sometimes with your hook you need a transition, and sometimes you don't. It just depends on if your hook goes straight into your claim or not, or if you need another sentence to tie it all the way to your claim. So that's what our introduction paragraph needs. A 3-sentence introduction paragraph for a 5th grade essay is perfectly acceptable. Now, if your hook is a couple more sentences because you're telling a story and that story has 2 sentences or 3 sentences, that will be okay and you're not going to be counted off against it. Remember, in writing, we're not worried about how much, how many sentences, and how many words, and how many paragraphs. We're worried about what content you have in your essay. Do you have good, meaty information, good claims that are well supported and well explained? That's what makes really good writing. So let's get started on this introduction paragraph. I need to find myself a really good hook. So here's how I'm going to choose to go with my hook. Many schools around the country have an issue with bored and out of shape students. So that hook is going to need a little bit of a bridge to connect it to the claim, but you can see how it's going to get there. So here's my bridge, and bridge is just a word that people use because bridges connect one piece of land to another piece of land. So when you're writing, your bridge is going to connect your hook to your claim, or in other informational or other kinds of writing, it would be your hook to your thesis. But either way, you get the point. So there's my transition. Some principals have been considering a possible solution to this issue. And then there's my claim, which I already figured out in my pre-writing, is recesses throughout the day would be a good idea. A lot of teachers are happy with you going right there with your hook, transition, and claim. But in my claim or my thesis, I like to go ahead and put in my main supporting details, because a good thesis statement, it organizes the entire essay for me. And that was really the point of my pre-writing, was for me to have that information. So I take all of that information and I put it into one well-written sentence in my thesis statement. It's not something that you absolutely have to do, but I do think it helps for a couple of different reasons. So I would go ahead and say, because, if I could type. So it's very easy to see from looking at my claim that I'm going to have two body paragraphs. So what is it that I need to have in a good body paragraph? Well, let's scroll on down my outline here. In both of my body paragraphs, I need to have a good topic sentence, just to say this is what this paragraph is going to be about, without saying this paragraph is going to be about that, because we're in 5th grade now, we're better than that as writers. Then we need to use our evidence. Now, there are a couple of different ways you can use it. For this one, I would give my first evidence, my second evidence, and then explain how those evidences tie back to my claim that recesses throughout the day is a good idea. Some people could choose to give their first piece of evidence and then go right here to the next line and explain that evidence, how it ties to the claim, and then give their second piece of evidence and explain again. That's just a personal preference. It's up to you which way you go. But today we're going to do evidence, evidence, explain. I'm actually going to copy and paste part of my thesis statement to put into my topic sentence. One of the things that I personally hate to see when I'm grading a student's writing is they say, my first reason is. It's just unnecessary words, and it doesn't help your essay any, and I just don't like it. So I would really encourage you to leave off those my first reason is and all that stuff. It's not necessary. We know it's your first reason because it's your body paragraph, and we understand how body paragraphs work in 5th grade. So I would really suggest trying to leave out that my first reason is. So what I'm going to do is go recesses throughout the day would be a good idea, because it would give students the opportunity to improve their health through physical activity. I'm going to literally copy that and then come right there to my topic sentence and paste it. Now, if you're writing on paper, you're not going to be so lucky to do that, but it won't take you a whole lot more time. One thing I like to put in my topic sentences is a good transition word. So at the beginning of each body paragraph, I like to have a good transition word. It can be as simple as first. There's nothing wrong with that transition word there. And then, of course, I need to make my R lowercase, but that's something that I will catch later when I revise and edit. Recesses throughout the day would be a good idea because it will give students the opportunity to improve their health through physical activity. So I'm going to give evidence to support that, and then I'm going to explain how that evidence supports that. That's my goal for the rest of this body paragraph. So I go back up and I'll look at my evidence again, and I reread what paragraph 13 said. And then I scroll down and I start typing without looking at my text. And the reason that I start typing without looking at my text is I want to make sure that unless I'm putting this in direct quotes, that I have swapped it and I have turned it into my own words. So the easiest way for me to do that is to read it, not look at it, wait a second, and then go down and type it, which is exactly what I did. I gave my paragraph number, which is important because we always have to give our text evidence. Part of our text evidence is that we tell where we got that information from. It's not something that we knew on our own. It's something that we read in the text, and we have to give them credit for that. So according to paragraph 13, physical activity can increase a student's stamina, bones, and even boost their immune systems. I think it's going to be easy to use that to prove that recesses will improve a student's health. So that shouldn't be very hard. So now all I need to do is my second piece of evidence. So I went back to paragraph 25. I looked at that evidence again, and I used my outline to help me remember what evidence I was going to use there. And it said, it was talking about running improving heart health and helping someone lose weight. And it had more details, but remember, when I'm giving evidence, I don't have to use every single detail from that. I get to pick the one that I think will most help my cause. So those are the two things that I put in my evidence sentence. I did explain that running is one type of physical activity because my topic sentence, my claim is that physical activity, recesses will provide physical activity. So I wanted to kind of give that little plug in, and that kind of helps my explaining and keep it all nice and easy to understand. So I said one type of physical activity is running, Paragraph 25 informs the reader that running can help someone lose weight and help their heart. So now all I need to do is add one more sentence to explain those two right there, that they do in fact support my topic sentence that recesses, my claim that recesses would be a good idea. So here's how I think I'm going to word that sentence where I explain my two pieces of evidence. Physical activity that students are able to engage in during recesses can help bones, immune systems, hearts, and lose weight. It is evident that recesses would be beneficial to students' health. I think that kind of explains itself, and it does give the paragraph a nice close. So when I get ready to fully form that paragraph, all I have to do is either rewrite it on my notebook paper, or I can go through, take out those words of my outline where I said explain, take out the evidence word there, take out the other evidence word, take out topic sentence, click tab so I can indent my paragraph. It's always important to indent those paragraphs. And right there is my body paragraph. It's indented, it has an opening sentence, it has good evidence, it tells where that evidence came from, it explains that evidence. That is a well-written body paragraph. I'm going to challenge you to write the second body paragraph in the same way that you saw me do the first one. Now notice I gave one piece of text evidence up there in my outline for it, and that was paragraph 16. So my second body paragraph needs to be that recesses will benefit students educationally. So paragraph 16 was one of the things that I gave for evidence, and I hinted at another paragraph number that you might be able to use. So you could use that one, or you could add a different one of your choosing. But I challenge you to write that second body paragraph and see if you can use the little outline that I gave you to help you out there. Now, no essay is any good without a good conclusion. Conclusions are one of the hardest things for students to write, which kind of amuses me because it's the one that really doesn't require much thought. You're going to restate your claim, which you already know what your claim is because you put it in your pre-writing, you put it in your introduction paragraph, and you sort of put it in both of your body paragraph topic sentences. So it shouldn't be any trouble to know that one. You restate that claim in that first sentence. And then you restate those supporting details. So I want to make sure it's worded a little differently. The easiest way to do that is to do it in two separate sentences. And then you have your now what sentence, which is the most challenging. It means what is it that you want your readers to do or respond to this piece that you just wrote. So you gave your opinion, other than it was what the writing prompt told you to do. Why? Why did you give your opinion? What is it that your readers need to do from here? So here is what my conclusion is going to look like. I'm going to restate, I did that twice by accident, sorry. I'm going to restate my claim. In conclusion, principals should definitely add recesses to their school's daily schedule. Then I'm going to restate my supporting details. Recesses provide students with health and educational benefits. Now what? Sometimes with my students I call this the super so what. So what? Why did we go all the way through this? It's just kind of your motivational part of the essay. So go encourage your principals to consider this very beneficial activity to their school schedules, and then celebrate with a good run. Now you can use your creativity there and change that last part if you want to. That's a really good spot for students to show what they're made of, and it always shows a little bit of their personality, which I always like to see in writing. So I hope this has helped you in writing your opinion essays. This is a basic essay. I tried to write this like a 5th grader would write it, not like a teacher would. I tried to make it look like yours. Something that I always encourage my students to do after we've got through this part is go back in and add those things that make their writing amazing. Add details. Add adjectives, add adverbs, better explanations, anything you can to make your writing just a little bit better. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hope this helps. If you need anything, contact me. My email address has been right up here at the top of the screen the entire time. It's ahicks@smithcoedu.net. Bye, guys. Have a great day.